Howdy guys, Dan Williams, Survive Outdoors. Today we're going to address hunting lies and myths and some issues on misconceptions about animal behavior. This over here is my diploma. I've been hunting for years. This has got about, I don't know how many are on here. I've killed over between 50 and 60 deer over the last probably 35 years. I spent a lot of hours up in a deer stand. So hunting myths and lies, they get transferred through the generations. Some of them with good intentions, some of them are just plain out wrong. So let's clear up that, and here we go. All right, so we're going to get started. Right off the bat, we're going to talk about one myth. A lot of people believe that after you shoot and hit a deer, whether it's a bow or a gun, that wounded deer is going to run towards water. That is a myth. So that's like saying chickens only lay eggs in chicken coops, so I have to build a chicken coop because the chicken just won't lay an egg anywhere else. So it's the same phenomenon. So if a deer is severely injured, and what it's going to do many times, and I've seen them run uphill, downhill, but many times if they're severely injured, they're going to go downhill, down the valley. It's the path of least resistance a lot of times. Just makes sense physiologically, right? Well, what's down in valleys? Lakes, ponds. So that deer oftentimes will die at the end of a valley, or it will die up on top of a hill as it's running and then slide down towards the water. So then the myth starts, hey, look, this deer ran towards water, it was thirsty. So that's a myth. You've seen this probably a lot of different places. Peeing by your deer stand, shouldn't do it. You should bring a pee bottle. That's been busted numerous times. You don't have to worry about that. It's showed that there's no effect on the deer in terms of spooking them with human urine. So not a huge issue. Fish. A lot of my fishermen out there. Fish bite better after rain. No. Most of you know fishing will be better right before a rain and during a rain. Barometer drops, brings in the storm, it rains, tons of bugs, grubs, insects, slides right into the lake, sides of the river, creek. Great time to fish. After the rain, not so much. Even though we all have caught fish after a rain, it's just not the prime time. A deer flagging. The deer flags, a lot of people say the deer flags after you hit it all the time. Not true. And of the 55, 60 deer I've shot with the bow and a shotgun, most of the deer that are hit and hit with a good shot in vitals will run, but will not flag. I have seen them flag. It's not a constant, but the vast majority will not flag. So I always tell people, I say, look, after you shoot that deer, you watch for that flag. We're going to have a video coming up in the fall on how to track deer with about 15 or 20 of the best methods to track your deer. Higher the deer stand, the better. No. The tons of actual studies from trauma surgeons across the United States on this, from Wisconsin, Michigan, some of your top deer hunting states. 15 feet is the prime height that you should stop. Now I'm going to have a lot of old timers out there and a lot of avid deer hunters are going to say, there's no way my scent, blah, blah, blah. Well, in the morning your scent's going to rise, usually with the more current. So that's number one. But anything over 15 feet, you're going to increase your chance of injury big time. This is just some solid mathematical facts. So 15 feet or less is ideal. Yeah, I've hunted 20, 25 feet too, but I'm just giving you the data, guys. So the safest is 15 feet or lower. So just to give you a heads up. Shooting does helps thin out the herd, or does it not help thin out the herd? What should you do? So if you have property that you're hunting on and whoever allowing you to hunt, it's really beneficial to shoot a doe early in the year on your property. That's going to increase basically the bucks over time. It's going to increase their antler size. It's going to decrease their stress. They don't feel like they have to go out there and sire all these does. and it's going to help your vegetation. If you ever had a food plot, you know how much food one doe is going to eat? A ton. So if you cull out a few does every year, you are going to increase your chances of getting a bigger buck. Guarantee it. All these hunting clubs, they make tons of money on hunters coming in there. What do you think they do? They thin out some does every year. They want to have hunter success. They want the hunters to go out there and brag so they can fill up their spots in the next fall hunting season. Duck and goose hunters. I used to be a guide down in Southern Illinois for 3 or 4 years at a duck and goose hunting club. So studied waterfowl for years. Geese will not fly and ducks will not fly at 20 degrees or below. Not true. Total myth. They got to eat. You have a cold snap coming in for 5 or 7 days, they're just going to sit there and just use up all of their stores of fat? No. I have seen and killed numerous geese under the temperatures of 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is a myth. More deer are wounded by a bow versus a gun. This is an old controversy. So let's break it down real quick. More deer are wounded by a gun than a bow. Well, why is that? Well, there are more gun hunters than bow hunters, first of all. So you have more hunters, you're going to have more wounded deer. However, bow hunters have to take closer shots. You have a higher mortality rate of deer with bow hunting than shotgun or rifle hunting. Shotgun hunters, rifle hunters, a lot of times, inexperienced dude is going to get overconfident and he's going to take a longer shot than necessary. And that will increase your chances of wounding that deer. I mean, there's no way I'm shooting a deer with a shotgun slug at 90 yards, not happening. But I'm taking that 15, 20 yard shot with a bow. So we can pull you up some more stats on this, and I'll throw those down in the discussion so you can see some of the numbers. Coyotes. Coyotes attack and kill hunters. Oh my goodness. I was at a campfire many years ago, and a guy thought he was an outdoorsman, said he was deer hunting down in Southern Illinois, and the coyotes were circling his deer stand, waiting for him to get out of the deer stand. And he knew they were going to attack him. There's been 2 deaths in the United States in the last 40 years documented. One was a child out in California, I believe in, 1990. The other was a 19-year-old girl, I think over in Nova Scotia. So, and that was what I understand. She was trying to rescue her dog. So, no, coyotes will not attack a human being. They do not get in groups like wolves and attack you from all sides. They are scared of you. You do have to have some concern around rabies if the coyote's acting really goofy or weird, because they're very shy. So, no, coyotes do not go out and attack human beings. So let's get that out there right now. Ticks. You cannot get ticks in the wintertime. False. You can get ticks. Anytime the temperature, you have a sudden surge of temp of 50 degrees or above in November, December, January for 3 or 4 days, what's going to happen is that you can definitely get a tick. It is possible. So it is possible to get Lyme disease, ehrlichiosis, babesiosis in the wintertime. Very possible. Poison ivy. You can't get poison ivy in the winter. False. Hard to find it. Leaves are gone, but you need to at least know where it is. You start trimming down that deer stand, and you all of a sudden, and 2 days later, you're getting this massive rash. So if you know where the poison ivy is, that's really helpful. But yes, you can get poison ivy in the winter. You get it all year long. If you have any deer myths or lies that have been floating around there, or hunting myths or lies, put them in the discussion. I would love to hear them. And anything you want me to research, we're glad to do that. And this fall, we're going to do deer stand injuries, the specifics, and we're going to do more on should you take a doe or a buck in hunting season, as well as the big one. We're going to show you how to track and increase your chances of finding a wounded deer. I've had very good success in 30 years. I think I've lost 3 total. All right, guys. Stay safe, keep your eyes on the horizon, your face to the wind. Until next time, take care.